Today, we are going to court. Now, we're supposed to have an open-close case. We're suing Abdul for $100,000. It's supposed to be easy money, but some things that we thought were gonna be easy are honestly, dudes, it's not looking too good. We were gonna sue him because he blew up my car twice, and yeah, I think we might have just lost the case before it even started. But of course, if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you guys drop a like, and here we go. What up, mother truckers? The one, the only. Wait, where's Alan? Alan's
so
outside.
Is Alan coming or what?
He's not able to.
Outside?
Yeah, he's having issues getting inside.
Can somebody escort him inside?
While we wait for Alan, can we step outside?
I'll recess for another 10 minutes. We can hold off for 10 minutes.
All right, cool.
So we get everyone.
All right, that's
here.
fine.
So what happened to Snow and what's going on?
Snow doesn't remember.
How is that possible?
It isn't coming.
He's the one that wrote the report.
I'm gonna make sure his ass is fucking charged with contempt of court, because I don't give a shit if he remembers or not. It's either him or the report, and we can't use either. So we're fucked.
What about the news thing, the second incident?
The second incident? Well, we got that on tape, so we do have that at least. But without the police report, we've got nothing but the 2-year words to back up the story. And if we can get Abdul on the stand, then we can, we can basically use perjury charges as a threat to get him to tell the truth about whether he was arrested and all this other stuff. But we got to basically do all of this without the police reports.
Mr. Braun, can you hear me? I've let the chief of police know, and he's on his way. All right?
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I apologize, I'm late.
What?
I've been
The
having.
chief of police doesn't remember what happened, so he's gonna be fucking useless.
How does he not remember? What? How can you forget such a fiery explosion? Like, unless it happens all the time in the police force, he will just blow up.
I think it does.
Mr. Snow.
How you doing, Mr.
Chief
Jobless?
Snow, were you able to, track down any information about this? Because I did get forwarded some police reports. I just can't admit them as evidence due to the filing requirements.
I need a case number.
There is actually no case number. I can email you the document, but
Yeah, if you
it
could.
looks like it was you and Dante Wolf were the responding officers.
How do you not remember my traumatic event, Snow? How? I mean, am I worthless to you?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been in Germany for 10 days and I've been getting hammered. It's good to have some time off, you know?
Oh, your boyfriend lives in Germany?
No.
Yeah, his name is Frank Schnitzel.
Oh, snap.
All right, I remember. Let's go. Why go? Let's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Snow,
I appreciate it.
Snow. You guys ready for this? It's my big moment.
All right, it's everyone from both sides here now. We can get this court case started. I understand it's a little delayed. Sometimes we have issues walking through the doors here. A few other minor complications. Is everyone ready to go?
Ready to win, the guys.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call this court into session at this time.
Let's go.
I'm going to cover a couple ground rules in my courtroom. No outbursts, no offensive or foul language unless it's part of a statement or you are being questioned as a witness. Does everyone understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is your
Yes,
first
Your
and
Honor.
only warning.
No.
Alabaster Slim, do you understand what I'm saying? This court is now in session. We have Garrett Jobless, and I don't know Mr. Weidman's first name. Is it Alan Weidman, yes?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
All right, versus Abdul Al-Rahim. We
Guilty.
have Mr. Braun as the representative for the plaintiff.
Someone just farted.
And for Mr. Al-Rahim, we have one Mrs. Pistone and one Mrs. Dupre. The statement of claim on March 21st, 2019, Mr. Al-Rahim caused serious bodily injury to Mr. Jobless and Mr. Weidman. Mr. Al-Rahim also caused extensive damage to the personal property of Mr. Jobless and is liable to compensate for client for damages due to his negligence. When notified of the possible legal action against him, Mr. Al-Rahim maliciously destroyed my client, Mr. Weidman's property while being recorded on video and caused bodily injury
Not wrong with the
to
job.
both clients with willful intent. In the relief, we have a request for $15,000 damage to property, $15,000 personal injury, $15,000 emotional trauma, and also $50,000 in civil damages for witness tampering. Are both sides prepared to give their opening statement?
Let's get it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the court, we are here today simply to prove that Mr. Al-Rahim did in fact act negligently with no regard to the safety of others on the date in question, resulting in the catastrophic damage to my client Mr. Jobless's personal vehicle, as well as severe injury via immolation to my clients through the explosions resulting from his actions during a police pursuit near the Pink Cage Motel at the intersection. We aim to prove as well that upon hearing about potential litigation against him, Mr. Al-Rahim did participate in witness tampering in causing catastrophic damage to Mr. Weideman's personal vehicle, and again willfully causing bodily harm to both of my clients in this event, which was captured on news camera footage. And through that testimony and evidence, we will prove without a doubt that Mr. Al-Rahim, whose birthday it is today, is into my clients for about $100,000. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr.
Happy
Braun.
birthday, Abdul.
Mr. Braun, are you prepared to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Mr. Garrett Jobless to the stand.
That's me.
All right, Mr. Jobless, will you please approach? And bailiff, when Mr. Jobless gets up here, will you please have him sworn in? Over here, Mr. Jobless, on my right shoulder.
There's a glass
There's
here.
a piece of glass there, Mr. Jobless.
Yep. I was just testing to make sure it works properly.
It does.
All right, Mr. Jobless, raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Be his left
I
hand.
swear to tell his left hand. Oh, okay. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me sin.
Yes, I do. True.
All right. The witness is sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, bailiff. Mr. Jobless, I remind you, this time you're now sworn in and under oath. Mr. Braun, you may proceed with your first line of questioning for your witness.
Mr. Jobless, how are you doing today?
I could be better, but I'm here.
All right. On 3/31 at approximately 1800 hours, were you nearabouts the Pink Cage Motel in the center of town?
It was. I was on my way to picking up my job at the job center.
Okay. Do you recall what vehicle you were driving at the time?
Yes, I was driving my $295,000 turbo 911 Porsche.
And did you have anybody with you at the time?
I did not. I was the only occupant of my vehicle at the time.
You came to the intersection and were stopped at a stoplight. Is that correct?
Correct. I had just pulled into the stoplight, heading towards a job center, about to make a right turn.
Could you tell me, in your own words, what occurred next?
Sure. I was waiting at the light when a very, very large man on a very, very tiny moped came around the corner and smashed his moped into my car, which then caused him to fly off. His moped then proceeded to burst in flames, then somehow ended up lodged underneath my vehicle, causing me to set ablaze, causing his moped to blow up, and then causing my vehicle to blow up. And unfortunately, I was in said vehicle, and here we are.
Was there anybody else in the area when all of this occurred?
There was actually multiple police officers, as Abdul was in a high, well, not really high speed chase, but he was in a chase. For whatever reason, he was running from the police.
And so you sustained life-threatening injury as a result of this collision?
It's actually been really hard for me to drive.
Mr. Jobless, do you need a moment to collect yourself?
I just have these flashbacks.
Does anyone have a tissue for Mr. Jobless?
Maybe
Chief,
he
you
should
have
stop
one?
being a bitch.
Flacco.
At this time, I would like to direct attention to the exhibit in evidence, the video taken of Mr. Abdul Al-Rahim, Mr. Garrett Jobless, and Mr. Alan Weideman on the, I believe is the Los Santos Freeway.
So this right
Was
here.
this video taken before or after you had informed Mr. Al-Rahim of the pending litigation against him?
The footage that everyone has seen, this happened afterwards when I was on the highway with Mr. Weidman.
Garrett, you there?
Okay, I would like to back up a little bit before this footage began rolling. What was the cause of the occurrence on the Los Santos Freeway captured in that video? Could you tell me roughly where it began so I can
Sure, it
proceed
happened
with a line of questioning?
right outside the entrance of the freeway near Pillbox. We were heading towards Harmony Garage to pick up some supplies, as Alan and I are both mechanics.
Has Mr. Al-Rahim made any further attempts to discourage you from pursuing this case?
He has actually, but I don't know.
Objection.
On the grounds of?
Speculation.
Your Honor, what is speculative about the answer to that question? Either he has or he hasn't.
Overruled.
Abdul Al-Rahim has. In fact, just yesterday he tried kidnapping me on his moped, where his lawyer had to save me and take me to safety at the Little Soul gas station.
Which lawyer
Your
would
Honor.
that be?
That would be Nora
Your
Or
Honor.
the.
Miss Dupre, do you have something to say while he's answering? You can't object to his answer.
I actually wanted to do a sidebar to you or approach the bench, sir.
This is what happened, by the way, guys. This is exactly what we're in court for.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
This is what we're in court for. So because it's so laggy.
To get back into place.
Mr. Jobless,
Yes.
when you say he attempted to kidnap you, can you be a little more specific about his intention and what was said?
I don't know what his intentions were. He had a baseball bat and decided that he had used it on me. And just prior to that, he had swung it on some lady over at the apartments.
At any point in time, did you explain to Miss Dupre what was going on?
Yes, I did.
What did you say to Miss Dupre?
I said that Abdul is kidnapping me because of the case tomorrow. Can you get me out of here? And she says, get on my bike. We got on the bike, and then I asked her, I was like, is this a problem because he's your client? And she goes, don't mention this. And then she drove off. That was it.
Your Honor, at this time, I must motion that Miss Dupre
Seriously?
be removed from counsel.
Oh my God.
Objection.
All right, sidebar right now. Order in my court. Do not talk over me. Sidebar.
Garrett out here snitching hard. Hey, good job, Garrett.
Mr. Braun, could you finish up with this line of questioning?
All right, Mr. Jobless, my last line of questioning is going to have to do with the damages to your vehicle. Did you get the value of the total cost and damages assessed, and did you get the car repaired?
The total cost of the vehicle is $295,000. When I went to go repair it, because of the damage it caught was it received from the explosion, it was in the upwards of $12,265.
I think that's all I have for now.
Your witness, Miss Dupre.
I'll go ahead, Nora.
Or Mrs. Pistone.
Hello, Mr. Jobless. How are you today?
Not so great because of what your client's done to me, but thank you for asking.
No problem. I'm sorry. Did you claim to get injured in that video as well, or were you just injured by the explosion?
The explosion that Abdul caused? Yes, I was injured. He caused
It was a
that
yes or
wreck.
no question.
Yes.
Can you tell me where in that video it shows that you were further injured?
Sure. I was laying on the floor unconscious, bleeding out for my life after an explosion he caused.
Didn't answer my question. Where in the video does it show that you were injured by him further, either by him tapping the car or hitting you with his own car? Because from what I see, you were laying on the ground, and that car that was already exploded did not hit you any further.
I was already unconscious, bleeding out because your client crashed into the car I was in. Well,
That's not the question I asked you, Mr. Jobless.
how can I possibly know what additional damages I sustained
Can you
when I'm
object to the
unconscious?
Well, then that's my answer. I have no further questions. Nora, do you have any questions for him?
Not at this time.
Mr. Jobless, you may step down at this time. All right, when it comes to Mr. Garrett Jobless, we're going to award Mr. Garrett Jobless the amount of $12,000 for the damages to his Porsche that were proven here in court today. We're also going to be awarding Mr. Garrett Jobless for the personal injury in the amount of $1,200. Now on to the emotional distress that was caused at the scene of the second incident that was tied into the report of Miss Plum. At no time in this court was it heard today that Mr. Abdul Al-Rahim was liable and that he actually did cause that explosion to Mr. Weidman's vehicle. Now, what you saw in the video was an incident after the fact of Mr. Weidman getting up. He was by a charred vehicle. The vehicle was struck by Abdul. The vehicle had already been damaged from an incident that could not be proven here in court today.
Fair.
Mr. Weidman was seen falling to the ground and he did sustain injuries. So we will be granting Mr. Weidman 500 in personal injuries. As far as the emotional distress, we're going to go ahead and deny that claim at this time. Now under the charge of tampering with a witness. That wasn't proven here in court today, so that's also going to be denied. Mr. Abdul Al-Rahim will be billed for $12,000 for the Porsche, $1,200 for personal injury to Mr. Jobless, and $500 personal injury to Mr. Weidman. This case is dismissed. Mr. Abdul Al-Rahim, will you please come forward to get billed? This case is now dismissed.
I didn't know I was coming to court to get robbed, Your Honor.
Oh, here we go. Have a good day. Court's dismissed. Have a good day, Your Honor. Thank you so much. Good.
Happy birthday, Abdul.
I want to make sure everyone understands that this was just RP, and at the end of the day, none of this really matters, and it was all fun and games. And just because we didn't get the amount of money we were looking for, we still won some money. I think it's important to remember that we had a lot of fun. So, but listen, if you guys enjoyed it and you're watching over on the YouTube lands, if you're watching on Twitch, I'm gonna keep my stream going. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys drop a like, hit that subscribe button. Big thanks to all you people that watch all my YouTube videos. It didn't end how we wanted it, dudes. 12K. 12K.